Cuba Domadores komandasının boksu. Gençler arasında
Next up then, it's a bantamweight sub 56 kilo class. Magomed GURBANOV against Norlan YERA of Cuba. YERA. Well, he has a 0-1 record in the WSB. He lost his opening fight in the semi-finals. He was up against a very tough Russian in Vladimir Nikitin. That's only just over a month ago. But he's got great memories of this city. In 2010 at the IEBA Youth World Boxing Championships, he came here and got the silver medal. And his coaches have backed him for the big one.
Red corner plays welcome to Sarik Baku fights. Gençler arasında dünya şampiyonatının galibi GURBANOV.
Magomed GURBANOV of Azerbaijan, 2-2 in the WSB this season. He's won his last 2 fights against France's 2008 Olympic Games silver medalist Karifi Jelkir, and indeed Russia's Nikita Fedorchenko. So someone who's on a very positive graph at the moment. Here's the record of YERA. He's 22 years old, 1 loss. So he's ranked right down the bottom of the WSB. That may change tonight.
4 görüş geçirmiş Ali Mösyö. 2 görüşte galebe kazandı. Rakibi ise Norlan YERA, cəmi 1 görüş keçirdi. Bu Mösyö
2-2 for Magomed GURBANOV. 24 years old, what a seasoned campaigner.
Azerbaijan.
Lost to Robise Ramirez of Cuba in the regular season, but Ramirez not given the nod for this fight, which is perhaps a surprise for many. Maybe there's other reasons, injuries, illness, you never know. So it is Norlan YERA who's been given the nod. And he had a really tough bout with that Russian Nikitin in the semis. Sigourney overseeing the fight here, the referee, and he actually got cut. So obviously it was a very small cut. It's healed up in time, and no doubt thrilled to get the opportunity to help his nation win this WSB team finals. Here are the judges, 3 of which are randomly selected for this 5 3-minute round bout. Underway. The Azeri in the black shorts, the Cuban in the gold and white.
Well, this is going to be a completely different bout. Magomed GURBANOV, very aggressive fighter. All his wins have been on points. As I say, he's an aggressive, hard hitter. Took a win over very tough fighter Nikita Fedorchenko, and of course Karifi Jelkir. However, YERA, skillful and in the Cuban vein, very elusive, very fast, but a real clash of styles between these two. And GURBANOV has the power, but YERA has the skill set.
Once again, we have the Azeri marching forward, the Cuban picking his shots and dancing away. YERA will not want to get caught up into a dust-up in the centre of the ring with GURBANOV. He's very experienced, hard man, good puncher when he needs to be.
And already we're seeing Azeri boxing at its best. We're seeing the slips, the evasive work coming from GURBANOV. Inside, GURBANOV working very well, and probably tactically brilliant of YERA to stand and trade very well here. Switches downstairs, starts to work the body. But YERA getting his own shots off here. Just under a minute left now, and good opening round for GURBANOV. YERA just feeling the water, having a little look-see, but GURBANOV completely at home here.
I think the Cubans fighting the fight that the Azeri would have wanted. Standing there, holding his ground, the Cuban at the moment.
Technically, this is brilliant stuff. Both these fighters landing clean shots, and the ones that are missing are slipping beautifully.
10 seconds to go. Oh, and moving away there, the Azeri getting clipped by the Cuban. This could go either way. Perhaps the Azeri just being the busier of the two in round number one.
This is going to be very tough for the judges, a very tight one to score.
Have a little look back here. Big overhand right attempted there by the Azeri, not quite getting through. The Cuban got a few good punches in. His tactics earlier on in the bout were probably better when he was hitting and moving. He chose to stand and start trading. So indeed it is GURBANOV who's been given 10-9 across the board from all three of the judges. He leads after round one.
Very good opening round for GURBANOV, and to convince the judges that early on that his performance was deserved of the win across the board, well, that's a good start.
Back out for round two then. GURBANOV in the black and fiery shorts up against this young Cuban, YERA, in the gold and white. He's got a decent reach advantage, the Cuban. He's really got to use that. Leaning right over his front foot there. It's the Azeri who's leaning back. Drawing forward the Cuban at the moment.
Towards the end of the first round, the Cuban started to really get into things. GURBANOV had a good start instantly and felt comfortable, you could see that. But YERA now needs to capitalise on that good end of first round performance and start the second one crisply to take the advantage back from GURBANOV. These punches, not a lot of them have got any heat on them. Good exchanges, but GURBANOV, well, I've seen him hit harder and bigger. YERA happy to box his way through this round, but GURBANOV could certainly slow things down by landing a very, very decisive shot.
It has to be said, the Cuban is being remarkably immobile at the moment, just standing there, really moving his feet. It's the Azeri who's actually doing more movement around the ring. You see the Cuban coaches screaming at their man to start getting a little busier here.
Well, it's almost a gift on a plate for the Azeri. I mean, YERA just standing there and trading with GURBANOV, and that's never a good thing to do with an Azeri boxer. GURBANOV's WSB record there showing 2 losses, but they were losses on points, and really got a jaw like Mount Rushmore in terms of durability. And now on the inside, GURBANOV starting to work YERA, getting those shots in, and that's not going to favour the Cuban at all.
He's going to watch it there, though, the Azeri. He was grabbing the back of the Cuban's head, pulling him down into an uppercut. The referee not saying anything, but he just managed to get away with it. A bit of a low blow there from the Azeri as well. He's working this well because he's getting away with everything at the moment.
Well, actually, the standard of work is very high. The odd shot's going to fall foul in the tight clinches, but this is good, crisp work. You'd really want to see some more mobility, though, from Norlan YERA. He's just absolutely a sitting target for GURBANOV, and again, it's just the sheer workload from the Azeri that's going to make the difference here.
So we're almost at the end of round number 2, and if he'd just employed the same tactics as Veitia, a hit-and-run tactic with those long arms, you'd imagine the Cuban would be doing much, much better right now. Let's have a little look back here. Magomed. He's being fed out the jab, but with absolutely no venom at all, and then gets himself inside and gets through with a few good shots.
Well, he gamed the rule system a little bit there a couple of times with the hand behind the head, but this is how the judges scored it.
2018 across the board. So, clean sweep at the moment for GURBANOV over YERA of Cuba. Well, what advice would you be giving the young Cuban right now? If, well, there's Talibov, the head coach of the Baku Fires. I'm guessing he's probably saying, carry on. It's perfect to his fighter. Well, you can see the Cubans there saying, you've got to get more mobile. You've got to dance a bit more and keep out of range. To stand there and trade with somebody like GURBANOV, who can hit solidly, you're giving him a gift. But let's see, from our lips to his ears, let's see what YERA has to bring in the third. He needs to take this round. Way to let this round slip. He's going to be in big trouble with just 2 rounds to go. Again, brilliant fast hands from GURBANOV. He's grabbing every opportunity. YERA slipped a good shot as well, so starting to employ a bit more evasive skills here. But still, GURBANOV just punching the hands out like pistons. And of course, they're scoring. One thing I will say about YERA is he doesn't seem to have much power behind his punches at the moment. And when GURBANOV comes punching, he's covering himself up as the Azeri appears to be the more powerful of the two. Oh, and a brilliant left hand there. Rocks the world of the Cuban.
Gum shield's gone. That was a crisp connection. And round 3 here, GURBANOV hitting solidly. And this could be the writing on the wall for the Cuban. Maybe. He's got to survive the round. There's 2 minutes to go. That's a tough position to be in.
Well, that was just punched straight out of his mouth. An uppercut come hook from the left hand there of the Azeri, and he wastes no time. Another 2 good blows to the head, and well, the way this is going, it could well be a 10-8 round to the Azeri.
10-8 would be a result for YERA. He's lucky not to be stretched out here. GURBANOV looking for the big shot, holds his man and hits, and referees on that. Mr. Gorney's just had enough of that.
Yeah, that time an elbow. He's all the professional tricks coming out from the Azeri, who's just that bit more experienced.
Well, the ring craft takes many shapes, but YERA looking slightly jaded now after 3 rounds. He's been on the receiving end of some good, solid and consistent work from GURBANOV. He was rocked again there.
Yeah, punch from one hand to the other, his head, the Cuban, and gets a little headbutt in the clash as well off the Azeri, who's just doing everything right at the moment. Well, you can see why the young Cuban did so well in the Youth World Championships here. Of course, that was back in the days of head guards and scoring. You'd imagine he'd be able to cut through and score a lot of points, but when it comes to head guards off 5 rounds and power being so much more important, well, it's GURBANOV who's much more impressive.
Well, GURBANOV could bring a stoppage here. YERA looking very lumpen in his work, and to bring this style of fight to the ring with GURBANOV without a good solid guard to protect yourself. I mean, he's got that free movement, the hands are free, but he's not protecting himself. GURBANOV's finding his way in.
Chucking out a few big bombs there at the end, GURBANOV of this round number 3. I think he's looking for the kill here.
Well, we just saw YERA land his own little shot there sweetly. These boys are headhunting now. I think we're going to see a big slugfest. YERA now has resigned himself to the fact that this is going to be a tough, tough grind. Both fighters between a dog and a lamppost here, really, as we go into the 4th.
Well, just a brilliant first half of round number 3 for the Azeri, who got through with a couple of cracking left hands. That one there, shooting out the gum shield of the Cuban.
Well, tight on the score, but I think GURBANOV's done it again.
Yes, absolutely. The judges agreeing with that as well. 30-27 across the board. Just 2 rounds to go. And now it's YERA, who's definitely not the power puncher of the two, that's got to go out there and do exactly that. Rolando Esabal, well, there's a man to give you some advice, having coached 23 Olympic champions. Quite something, or certainly had his hand in that many anyway, over however many decades he's been involved in boxing. 4.5, 5 decades, quite something.
Yeah, Archibald, absolutely a living legend, a national hero in Cuba, and what a man to give you advice. Whether or not YERA's going to take it or not, I don't know, but he's turned aggressive here now, beginning of the 4th. GURBANOV on the back foot, YERA coming forward, and actually out GURBANOVing GURBANOV.
Well, he's been given the mission statement, hasn't he? Get out there and try and win a round with real dominance, or try and knock this guy out, but I'm just not sure he's got the arsenal, the tools, the Cuban, to do this.
Well, he's hit the target a couple of times, actually, and what's interesting here now, GURBANOV has suddenly started to have a little bit of pep taken out of his work. He's starting to take a breather in round 4. It's across 5 rounds, and well, maybe YERA's kept something in the bank, because GURBANOV's starting to look just a little bit gassed. Yep, the Christmas has gone from GURBANOV, and it's YERA who's up on his toes and hitting. So is this a case of rope-a-dope for YERA? Has he taken GURBANOV all this way to gas him? There were a couple of times when YERA had a little right hand in contact with the chin of GURBANOV that could have just hit the sweet spot and taken the man out.
Well, he's blowing surprisingly hard here, GURBANOV, who still was looking the more dominant of the two at the end of round 3, but the Cuban's got the better conditioning.
Certainly, YERA looking lemon fresh in the 4th, and look at that little jumping left hook, catches GURBANOV, and GURBANOV starting to look just a little bit lazy and tired in his work. Put some effort in there, but sporadic, and definitely a man that's resting now in this 4th. Good advice. From the corner, from YERA to get on top of it. But after 3 going the way of the Azeri, is this just a little too late? But even on the trading, YERA starting to get the upper hand. Just over half a minute left. Good work from YERA now, and GURBANOV starting to hang on.
Got caught with the right hand there, the Cuban, as he came lunging forward. He's dropped his left hand, his guard not quite as tight as it once was. Obviously feeling that he's in the better shape at the moment. Well, that's it. Little one off to the bell again. GURBANOV knows that every trick in the book. Well, I think that's probably a round for the Cuban. But, just 1 round to go after this.
You can see in the slow-mo, GURBANOV hanging on. YERA, just that little bit of conditioning that made it worthwhile for him.
39-37, so it's a very similar script to our first bout of the evening. Though this time it's the Cuban who's down by 2 points across the board, going in to the 5th and final 3-minute round. The Cuban coach there, getting right up in the face of his man, trying to fire him up. 1 round for glory. Get out there and do it, he says. Well, he's up against a fairly tired opponent. Magomed GURBANOV in the black and fire shorts for Azerbaijan has the lead in this final round over the young Cuban Norlan.
So both scrapping for centre ring, and YERA supercharged going into this final round. looking to bring the action. GURBANOV on the back foot, and it's the first time we've seen that, the latter part of the 4th round and this 5th round. GURBANOV stepping out of harm's way. Norlan doing all the work here now. He gets caught with a left there. On the inside, GURBANOV still dangerous. First minute of this last round gone. And YERA calling his man on. Just a little bit more accuracy needed from YERA. It's really in with a rough house in GURBANOV. And GURBANOV lets the shots go. If you're in the way, any part of the arm will catch you. And GURBANOV stepping it up slightly now. YERA's taken this to another level. But missed opportunities, I have to say, for the Cuban. He had GURBANOV on the back foot, moving around the ropes. There was an opportunity to really put the pressure on. Good left-right combination there. Had the opportunity to put the pressure on, but didn't take it. And with just under a minute left now, this could be a case of too little, too late again.
Trying his absolute best there. The Cuban trying his absolute best. He had him against the ropes again. And a little clumsy now, the Azeri.
Just under half a minute left now, and really all the work is from the Cuban YERA, but GURBANOV still in this, but YERA not accurate enough.
And just doesn't have enough power, does he? It's as simple as that. The target is there, sitting in front of him. He's getting through with some clean punches, but I'm afraid he just doesn't have the sheer strength to really do the business. You can see why he's so good when it's a points competition. Well, off he goes, the Azerbaijani. Certainly has left everything in the ring. And well, we expect he's going to win this, though he may well have lost the last round. And it'll look very tight on points, but no doubt a sweep of the judges' scorecards. But we have to wait and see what the referees come up with.
Well, both fighters took it to the wire in that last round, and you kind of felt and hoped that YERA would light up the blue touch paper just a while back. I mean, in the middle of the 3rd round, that would have been a good time for him to really put his foot on the gas. But you do what you do. So an official decision now. It's going to be close.
Joshua 48-47. Judge 2 48-47. Judge 3 48-47.
No surprise, last round went to the Cuban, and 48-47 across the board, we're assuming.
Azerbaijan.
As it will be 10-9, yes it is, to the Cuban in the last round, bringing things to 48-47 on all 3 of the judges' scorecards. Winner by points, 3-0. So, things are all even on the night. So 1 to the Cubans, and now 1 to the Azeris. There's the current standings. Opening fight to Veitia in the light flyweights, and then back to the Azeris with GURBANOV with the 56 kilo class. The bantam